spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge meets his nephews all lean in, breaking down fights, codes that daddy supreme on. Just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged, from the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick, hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls deep predictions, he be making those calls, getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From Chiesa takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight Night Kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time. We've got UFC 310 coming up tomorrow, headlined by Alexander Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. It is going to be a really fun flyweight main event for the UFC Flyweight Championship of the world. Should be an all-action fight between two all-action fighters. Looking for that one to finish inside the distance. And then the co-main event is just a spectacular fight in the welterweight division between two undefeated fighters in Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Garry. We got a really good pay-per-view card here. We got a really good card from top to bottom that has 14 fights on it. I've got bets on several of these fights, and I'm going to do a full card breakdown for you guys here, a really quick one. I'm going to give you guys a dog pick of the week. I'm going to give you guys Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, who's going to win and win violently, and cash tickets for us. And then we're also going to give you guys a Greasy 4-leg parlay to close out on today. I'm looking forward to breaking down these fights with you guys. As always, if you want to look in the description of the video, you can find links to my Patreon and my Dub Club, where I've already done 4 hours worth of content for my Patreon and Dub Club people that is not available on YouTube. We did balls deep breakdowns where we broke down all 14 of these fights, went through the fight write-ups that I've done for all of the fights this week, and gave our picks, gave our leans, gave some of our best bets. And then we did a 2-hour show called Probability, where we go through every fight on the card. We talk about the stylistic reads that we come up with on balls deep breakdowns. And then we find out where those reads meet the underpriced bets for the week, so that we can find the biggest plus EV bets on the fight card on every single fight. And then I give you guys a list of those bets. And we get the fight write-ups, all the stat models. Everything is available for $25 a month. You get 4 hours worth of content every single week. So that means 16 hours worth of content some months when you have a 4-week, when you have fights on 4 different weekends for that month. So check it out. Links in the description of the video. But let's just get right into it here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we are going to talk about every fight on this card really quickly. I will give you guys all of my picks here, which are on Tapology. So we're going to start with Kennedy Nzechukwu is going to be going up against Lucas Brzeski. These lines were lines that I put into the StreamYard on Wednesday when we did this show on Wednesday afternoon when we broke down all these fights. So some of these lines might have moved, but Nzechukwu is a big favorite over Brzeski. I've got Nzechukwu getting the second round knockout here. Brzeski's not bad. If you're at distance with this guy, he throws a lot of volume for a heavyweight. He's a fairly decent boxer. He stays busy enough, and he throws with a little bit of power, but he's really not dangerous anywhere. And Kennedy's a really talented natural athlete. He's going to be the bigger guy. He's going to be the longer guy. He's going to be the guy with more power, and he's going to be the guy with more grappling upside. So I do believe Kennedy's going to win this fight. But we just saw Kennedy blow it as a -600 favorite 2 fights ago against Ovince St. Preux, who went into that fight over 40 years old. So, I don't want to lay any kind of juice here on Nzechukwu. I think he gets the job done. He's probably a pretty decent DraftKings play this week. But in terms of laying, that kind of fat-ass money line on him, I don't think he's worth parlaying. And I wouldn't want to try to guess what round he gets the job done in. So pretty easy fight to stay away from in terms of a gambling perspective for me. But I'm picking Nzechukwu to win, and I'd be really surprised if Lucas Brzeski found a way to win this fight. Next fight is Clay Guida going up against Chase Hooper, one of the biggest age differentials that I remember seeing in any fight. I know earlier this year, Karolina Kowalkiewicz fought Yasmin Lucindo, and I think that there was maybe a 17-year difference there, and here we got almost a 43-year-old Clay Guida. I believe Clay turns, let me look here, I'm going the wrong way. I think Clay might turn 43 the day after the fight. Let me look here. Where is it? Oh, of course. Clay, December 8th. So yeah, the day after the fight. Happy birthday, Clay the Carpenter. Guida turning 43 on Sunday. One of the legends of the sport, 60 professional fights. He's got a 9-win and 11-loss record in the UFC from the year 2013 on. Plenty more fights before 2013 in the UFC for Clay. But, he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. And even in the Leonardo Santos fight, that fight probably would have been, called by a lot of other refs. And he got a come from behind victory there. So Clay's not fighting at the highest level anymore, obviously, like most people don't at 43 years of age. And then it's just a kind of a weird matchup that you would match up Clay against a 25-year-old prospect who's won 4 of his last 5 fights and is on a 3-fight winning streak. Because Clay's traditionally done his best work when he can take his opponent down and win minutes on top. He's going to land some ground and pound. He could get a guillotine if he tries to go for his submission. But really, other than that, the guy's a decent boxer. He's a very good wrestler. He's always had excellent conditioning and footwork and movement. So he's not an easy target to fight. He doesn't absorb a lot of significant strikes per minute. But this is a really tough matchup because Chase Hooper just does a ton of work. He's just so busy. When you take him down, he's more offensive from the bottom than most people are from the top. And then when he gets on top, he's landing a massive amount of ground and pound. I've got a small bet on Chase Hooper to win by KO here for a quarter unit at plus 700. Because I think ground and pound is in play in this fight. And we even saw Chase get a knockdown against Vyacheslav Borshev. So because Chase is such a dangerous submission grappler, you do have to worry about the takedown attempts on the feet, which makes his striking even more effective. So I like Chase Hooper to win here, and I picked Chase to win, even though I'm picking him to win by submission. And he's also submitted Clay in a grappling event too. So they've actually already fought, but in a grappling sense, where Clay is going to be able to use his ground and pound in this fight. So it could play out a little bit differently, but yeah, Chase by submission round 1 is the pick for this fight. The next fight, Michael Chiesa, when I did this on Wednesday afternoon, was -113 going up against Griffin, -107. We got the fight doesn't go to decision, sitting around plus 130. I'm picking Chiesa to win this fight, and I'm picking him to win it by decision. The thing I like about Chiesa is that while he's never been a great striker and he's never been somebody you could count on to win minutes or moments really at distance striking range, he also knows that. Chiesa knows that. And the way that he fights, he stays very safe at distance striking range. If we look here at the advanced matchup, you could see here that while Chiesa is only landing 2.9 distance strikes per minute, he's only absorbing 3.3. And he's been knocked down exactly according to the statisticians 0 times in his last 18 UFC fights. So Max Griffin is not this incredible minute winner at distance striking range. He does land an above average amount of strikes at 4.8 at distance. And he absorbs 4.6 though, and he's got an 8-to-1 knockdown ratio. So he's definitely flashing some power, especially early in fights. When you see Max getting knockdowns, it's first round, maybe early second round. But Chiesa does he does an excellent job of winning minutes with his grappling. And that's something that we've seen Max actually struggle with a little bit in the past. If you watch the third round of the Tim Means fight, we saw Griffin get taken down and controlled for most of that round. And it was kind of strange because Neal didn't start clinching up and grappling in that fight until about halfway through the second round. And as soon as he did, Max Griffin really slows down in the second half of fights. So if Chiesa's not getting hit, not getting knocked down early, I do see the wrestling starting to wear on Max in the second half of this fight. I see Michael Chiesa's wrestling and grappling making the difference in this fight. But Max Griffin's never been submitted in 30 professional fights. So I do believe that this one's going to go to decision because Max has 10 losses. He's only been finished once as a professional. So I do believe that while Chiesa is favored to win, I like him to win. I really do feel that decision has a lot more value this week. So I have a bet on Michael Chiesa to win by decision at plus 200. That's my pick for that fight. Next one, Cody Durden versus Josh Van. We got Cody Durden around a plus 130 underdog, Van around a minus 150 favorite. Fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at around minus 135 as a play I like this week. I'm going with custom made Cody Durden to win this fight by submission in round number 2. It's funny, I made this prediction much earlier in the week. This was the first fight that I researched, and I've had a money line bet on Cody Durden since I think Sunday, maybe even a day before that. I got him at plus 135 or plus 130. I think it was plus 135 is where I've tracked it at plus for 1.5 units. But I saw that Durden was talking to Moicano on the Show Me the Money podcast, and Durden predicted a second round submission. That's what he told them. I'm like, oh my God, he must be watching Balls Deep breakdowns because he's predicting the same thing that I predicted. But obviously he doesn't watch that because he's not a Patreon member. But yeah, man, Cody Durden and I are predicting the same thing. Durden by second round submission. This is going to be a great fight. I love fight doesn't go to decision here because Josh Van is somebody who puts so much pressure and pace on his opponents that he can break you in the second half of fights. And Cody Durden's been submitted so many times that I could see this fight ending with a Van knockout in rounds 2 or 3. I could see this fight ending with a Van submission in any round. I could see Cody Durden winning this fight by submission because I think he's the much better minute and moment winner in the grappling exchanges here. And I also could see Cody Durden getting a knockout because Joshua Van got brutally knocked out by Charles Johnson. Van is shown to be very hittable, and that's one of the things he's going to always be because of the style that he fights with. He's constantly closing the distance. He's constantly walking his opponents down and throwing to the body. And when you throw to the body a lot, your head is wide open to be countered. So that is something that Van's always going to be hittable. And now that he's young, he's fighting extremely often. I believe, let's see here. Van, only 2 months and 9 days between fights here. And it's only 2 months and 16 days for Durden. So it's a quick turnaround for both guys. But Van, his pro career has only lasted 3 years, and this is going to be his 14th fight. So this guy is averaging 3.5 fights per year. He's coming off a knockout fairly recently. So I worry about Josh Van's chin as well. So I could see Durden getting a sub. I could see Durden getting a knockout. I could see Van finishing by either method as well. So I do like fight doesn't go to decision this week as a nice bet. And I'm picking Cody custom-made Durden to win this one by second round submission. The next fight is one that I'm not going to be betting this one. It's Weidman versus Anders. I do like Anders here, though. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to finish Chris Weidman. I like the KO. at plus 480. I like Anders inside the distance at plus 420. I think that these guys, Anders has still got a lot of gas left in the tank, and I think that Weidman's, I think he should have retired after the fucking Uriah Hall fight. I mean, if that's not a sign from God or Jah or Buddha or whatever it is that you believe in, or the universe or whatever it is, when you're getting your leg broken in half on the first kick that you throw at 39 years of age, and you're on a 4-fight losing streak, let's just call it a career. Let's just call it a career. But no, evidently not. And here he is against a guy like Anders, who's got a ton of power, and who's very durable. So I have to lean with the youth. I have to lean with the durability, and I have to lean with the moment-winning ability of Anders. And I think that Anders is also way bigger and more and stronger, more athletic. So I think he can actually win the minutes in the clinch here as well. So I'm liking Anders to win this one. I think he gets a finish, and I'm surprised that Weidman's around to pick him here. I don't understand it, but it's not a fight I want to bet on. Next fight, Randy Rude Boy Brown, who I bet at plus 197, was plus 190 earlier in the week. Brian Battle minus 225. Fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at minus 160. And this is one of the reasons why I always wait until after the weigh-ins to do the Greasy 4-leg parlay, is because, the weigh-in is crucial information for a lot of fighters. And Brian Battle has really struggled to make 170 pounds ever since moving down from middleweight. And it happened again. And as of right now, Randy Brown is no longer plus 190. I can assure you that. He's sitting at plus 155. So yeah, Battle can now be had for minus 180. He looked awful on the scales. He obviously was nowhere close to making weight. So even if he wins this fight, it's going to be severely in question because he didn't even bother to try to cut the weight down to 171. So yeah, very unprofessional by Brian Battle here. But I was already on Randy Brown earlier in the week as an underdog. I've got a 1-unit bet on him at plus 197 on the money line. I've also got a 1-unit bet on him on his decision prop at plus 500. But Brian Battle's a phenomenal finisher, but I think that he's looked really good lately. But I'm picking Brown to win this one because I think the level of competition was much, much better for Brown. Randy Brown's won 7 of his last 8 fights, and they were pricing Battle as a bigger favorite against Randy Brown than they were pricing him against AJ Fletcher, against Sato, against the most recent opponent, Giuseppe, that he just beat. These guys that he's beating are not on Randy Brown's level, and now they're making him even more expensive against a much better fighter in Brown than he was the last 3 times out. And even in the Lusa fight, he was like minus 170 against Lusa, and everyone was talking about how he was winning that fight so decisively. I went back and watched it. He never had Lusa in any trouble at any point in that fight. He outpointed him in the first round, but landed really nothing of significance. Now, Lusa wasn't doing much either. I mean, he wasn't really having much success, but like Brian Battle wasn't destroying him, and Lusa wasn't looking for a way out. He got his eye raked badly, and he couldn't fucking see. So that fight was, Brian Battle was going to win that fight. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Angalusa was going to come back and win that fight, but people were talking about how Battle, the way that they were talking about how Battle was winning that fight was they were describing a guy that was looking like minus 1,000. He was looking about minus 170 at that point. So yeah, I think that, the Brian Battle hype is way too much. And then he comes in extremely unprofessional at weighing in at 175, looking like death warmed over. So yeah, happy to have Randy Brown's money line here at plus 197. And I think he's going to get the job done by decision because Brian's a very durable dude. So yeah, like Brown decision there. Next fight, Evloev versus Sterling. Very interesting fight. Evloev minus 248, Sterling plus 213. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at plus 250. The bookies see this one going to decision, as do I. And yeah, I like Evloev here. But Sterling should be able to keep this really close. I think that this is close on the feet. I think that Evloev is the better wrestler and the better minute winner in the wrestling exchanges. If you look at the percentage with which Evloev is getting his takedowns and defending them, it's better than what Sterling does. So let me get the stats up here for you guys. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Evloev, Sterling. So you can see Evloev is getting his takedowns at 46%, while Sterling only gets his at 27%. And then you can see Evloev defending takedowns at 71% and Sterling at 45%. And you see here, Evloev winning 89% of the control time positions in his fights, Aljamain Sterling winning 65%. And we saw Sterling get out wrestled by Peter Yan, in their first fight. We saw Sterling even get out wrestled by Brian Caraway back in the day. And Evloev is just a really phenomenal minute winner in the grappling exchanges. And if you look at the striking stats, he's more defensively responsible than Aljo at distance, which is saying something, because Aljo at 63% distance striking defense is very good, but 65% for Evloev. So I think even Evloev's striking is a little bit underrated as well. But and then in addition to that, Evloev is 18-0. Sterling is 24-4. So this fight does see the scorecards, probably almost 80% of the time, according to the bookies here, at least 75% of the time, I would say. And the undefeated fighter, usually is going to get the nod by decision in these close fights. So I do feel confident that Evloev does enough to keep this close, and Sterling does, and that Sterling probably is not going to get the nod, as Evloev is the younger guy with a little bit more cachet at this point that people are talking about potentially having title aspirations here. So he'd be an interesting guy for Topuria to fight, because one of the things you're really going to need to do against Topuria is just not be at distance striking range against that guy, because he's got hammers for hands. So Evloev by decision is the pick here. Pretty confident that's the way that this fight turns out. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm picking Evloev here. I'd like to get to that Sterling side. I just couldn't quite get there as a dog play this week. Next one, Luque versus Gorimbo. Gorimbo sitting around -150 earlier in the week. Luque around +130. Fight doesn't go plus money at +120. I like Gorimbo here. I'm picking Gorimbo to win it by first round knockout. I don't see any problem with a Luque bet. This fight is very high variance in my opinion, and I'm not going to have any bets on it, because I feel like if you bet Gorimbo and then Luque just puts a clinic on him, like, you're going to be like, yeah, man, I should have known. I should have known this was too much too soon for Temba. But and then if you bet on Luque and he winds up sleeping a minute into this fight, you're going to be like, I should have known he was washed, So it's going to be one of those ones where if you win, you're going to prove that you were right about a narrative issue. Is Luque washed? Yes or no? Check 1, check 2, and you're either going to be right or not, depending on who won that fight, because if Luque wins the fight against Gorimbo, you're going to be like, all right, he's not washed yet, but if he goes out there and he loses to Temba Gorimbo, who just, like not that long ago was getting choked out by AJ Fletcher, you're going to be like, okay, well, should have known that too. So this one is I'm not running to the window to bet this fight. The one thing I was thinking about doing was Gorimbo KO rounds 1 or 2. Never really pulled the trigger, missed the line on Bet Online. It's still available at, like, you could Dutch it for about maybe plus 670 on Bet Rivers for Gorimbo KO 1-2. That's my stylistic read on the fight. But I mean, this one is high variance in my opinion, and it really comes down to the information that you need is, is Luque's heart in going out there and trying to win fights right now? Because if you're signing a contract to fight Nick Diaz, it's like the easiest fight that you could take, So I don't know, man. I'm staying away from this one. Next fight, Don Reyes going up against Anthony Smith. Reyes -360. Smith plus 295. Fight doesn't go sitting around minus 300. We had Smitty missing weight today. Smitty saying he just wants to get in there and bang. I was going to play Reyes by decision at plus 410, and Smith's a durable guy. You know, he's got a ton of heart. And he does tend to like get hit, but recover and come back. And I could see this kind of being like an ugly kickboxing match where Reyes would get the nod at the end because he is the better technical kickboxer, because he does hit harder, because he's more accurate and has better footwork, and because he's faster. All of those things. I think that the Reyes, like if you look at my betting models here that are available on the Patreon, it's going to tell a story of I'm going the wrong way again. Where is it? Reyes, there it is. Shit. God, I hate this. I'm missing. Right. Reyes, where are you? Reyes Smith. Okay. On the betting template here, minus 137 for the KO is just, even though it's about 33% of his win condition, according to the past performance of both fighters in 3-round fights, you know, it's priced at 58%. That's disgusting. But you see the decision at plus 410 is actually a trifecta bet on my template, which means it's underpriced according to all 3 metric comparisons that we make when we compare the divisional benchmark adjusted for win percentage of the fighter, when we look at the implied probability of the betting line, when we look at the combined performance of fighter A's wins against fighter B's losses and how they weight. You know, this is a bet at plus 410 that like is just beautiful. It should be priced closer to plus 200. You know, because I'm getting 33%. So with VIG, you would probably get plus 185 is where I'm showing the Reyes Smith fight should be bet. So this should be one where I just close my eyes, don't watch the fight, bet that decision at plus 410, and just say, even if no matter if it doesn't hit or if it hits, I could at least say, like, if I'm making those kind of bets on the long term, I'm going to be up long term for a very long time, because you know, that one, it should just be priced way differently. The KO is extremely overpriced. The decision is extremely underpriced. And people are just assuming that this guy, Reyes, who hadn't won a fight in, you know, years, and then got a knockout against Dustin Jacoby, all of a sudden, like, now he's going to be a champion again. You know, like, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of recency bias in these lines. But yeah, Reyes by decision is the pick. So the stylistic read matches up with the value on that decision prop. So I'm probably going to have to bet that for at least a half unit, but might have to close my eyes and just throw the full unit on it, because it's the kind of bet that, you know, when the stylistic read meets in the data telling you that it's underpriced, that's where you got to get invested. The next fight is going to be, it is your Uncle Weezy's Ding Dong Donnybrook of the week. It's going to be Nate the Train Landwehr going up against Duho Choi. Cannot wait for this fight. Now, this is a fight I really don't have much of an opinion on who's going to win it. In my opinion, this is about as 50-50 as it gets. It's not something I want to be invested on the money line on either side, because I could see a Landwehr KO. I could see a Landwehr submission. I could see a Choi KO. I could see a Choi submission, and I could see a decision on either side. I think these guys are really well matched. I think Nate Landwehr's grappling is extremely underrated. His ability to be able to win minutes, you know, in the grappling exchanges by stuffing the takedowns of his opponents and getting takedowns in his own right is really good. His front chokes are really good, and I love his clinch game too. And with Duho Choi, you got a guy who just really has a ton of power, and he's got a very underrated grappling game as well. So I think that this is one of the best fights of the night. I think these guys are going to fight like two rats in a shoe, and I think it's going to be one that you don't want to miss. As far as the pick goes, like I say, I'm picking Landwehr, second round submission, but like that could be a Landwehr first round KO. That could be a Choi first or second round KO. My favorite bet for this fight is Duho Choi by KO at plus 310. And I think the fight doesn't go to decision is as good of a parlay piece as any this week. Yeah, this is a hell of a fight, you guys, and I'm liking it a lot. But I really do think it's a coin flip. So I'm not really confident in my pick of Landwehr by submission in round 2, but I do like when I considered all of the aspects of this fight, and I mean, I really do that, you guys. I mean, like if when I come to a pick, I'm looking at the summary of the recent trends for each fighter here. I'm looking at both fighters overall and UFC strength of schedule, where I'm giving Landwehr the advantage. I'm looking at the distance striking stylistic components, where I'm giving a slight advantage to Duho Choi. I'm looking at the grappling and clinch exchanges here, where I'm giving an advantage to Landwehr. And then I look at the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter, and I break it down with a summary, and then my best bets in a pick. So, I mean, I tried to, I tried to look at all the information. And then when I got to pick and I'm supposed to type something there, I swear to God, I sat there looking at the screen for like 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't know who's going to win this fight, but it's a great fight. Can't wait for it. So yeah, we're going with Nate Landwehr by second round submission there. The next fight after that is Bryce Mitchell versus Gracie. I mean, this is one we're not going to talk about very much. I got Bryce Mitchell winning this one by decision. I do have a small bet on Gracie to win by submission at plus 1,200 because it's plus 1,200 and it's Gracie. And, in order for Gracie to get a submission here, Bryce Mitchell would have to do something stupid. And I mean, let's face it, you guys, Bryce Mitchell does stupid shit all the time, right? I mean, the guy's drilled a hole in his own nutsack. The guy's, brought a Bible into the cage and screamed freedom at the top of his lungs, with a crazy look in his eyes. He's somebody that could pull a stunt, So I wanted to have a little something on Crone to snatch something up in case a guy who makes mistakes, a stunt puller, a guy who drills holes into his own nutsack, makes a mistake. So I do have a bet on Gracie, but I'm expecting Bryce Mitchell to have the skills necessary to win the minutes of this fight, however it plays out. So going with Bryce Mitchell by decision as the official pick. And for the last 3 fights, this is a fun one. We've already seen this one. We had a 5-round main event in the small cage between Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov. Gane minus 350. Volkov sitting around plus 285. Fight doesn't go at plus 215. I think is an interesting bet this week. I'm going with Ciryl Gane to win this one by decision. I think he could get a late KO as well. I just think that he's the better minute winner at distance striking range. And even if you're a great moment winner, which Alexander Volkov really isn't, he's not a phenomenal moment winner, even in the heavyweight division. Even if you are a great moment winner, like, for instance, Francis Ngannou, who went 5 rounds with this guy, never once had him in any trouble, never once had him knocked him down or really had him in a place where he was close to finishing him. It's tough to see Volkov finding that finish here. So I think Gane either by a late KO or by decision is how this fight is going to play out. And I'm going with Bongamin Ciryl Gane to win this one by decision. Co-main event, man. I mean, Rakhmonov versus Garry. This is where it's at. This is as good as it gets. And I'm going with Shavkat Rakhmonov by 4th round submission. I kind of like the overs in this fight. I think that these guys are well matched, and when I was looking at the line, I saw, minus 350 Shavkat, plus 285 Ian Garry. I was like, okay, I'm going to be getting to a Garry bet. I've got to watch the tape on this one first, so I think I taped the Durden fight first because I was like, that line looks off, and it was off. So I bet Durden. And then here, this was the second one I looked at because I'm like, this is crazy. You're going to give me Ian Garry at plus 285. And then I watched the tape on Rakhmonov. The pressure is just relentless from this guy. Shavkat Rakhmonov never takes a backward step. And, even against a guy like Jeff Neal, who hits so fucking hard, who's so powerful, who he's got life-changing power. Just ask Vicente Luque. Shavkat just was not intimidated, was just walking him down. That kind of pressure is just exhausting to deal with. And, and Ian Garry's already a guy who has really good footwork and distance management and lateral movement. So I do think he's going to be able to deal with that pressure, but it's going to be exhausting dealing with it. And Shavkat does know how to cut off that cage, and we know that he's going to want to grapple. Shavkat's ground and pound is elite. His submission game is elite. If he locks up a guillotine choke, it's pretty much over. And when he does get on top of you, the ground and pound, that the power with which he lands his strikes in clinch and ground control situations is terrifying. So terrifying that it just opens up submission attempts for him. So I think that Gary's going to win the minutes of this fight up until he makes some kind of a mistake, and then Shavkat's going to take advantage of that mistake and do what he does best, win minutes. Ian Garry by decision at plus 800 is very, very interesting, though. Even though I'm on the Rakhmonov side, to put a quarter unit on that to win 2 is something that I think is a cheeky play, ladies and gentlemen, and I might be doing that this week. Quarter unit plays, when I find these mispriced props or something that I want to, I want to be playing a little bit more. So while I'm picking Shavkat here, and I think he's the man, I'm going with Ian Garry to have some, to look better than plus 290 here. That's what I'm looking for. I think there's a lot of value on the Garry side here, and that Shavkat is a ridiculously difficult opponent because of the constant pressure and that ability that he has to find those moments that end fights. So great co-main event here, man. And then the main event, Alexander the Cannibal Pantoja around minus 265 going up against Kai Asakura at plus 225. Kai is making his debut here. A lot of things on the Asakura side that he's going to be dealing with here. He's never fought in a cage before. He's never been scheduled for 5 rounds before. He's never fought outside the U.S. before. So he's fighting under a new rule set where, kicks and knees to the head of a ground opponent are not allowed. So there's a lot of things that are working against him this week. And then he's going up against somebody in Pantoja who's extremely durable and who has, some of the best back takes in the sport. And, Kai Asakura is somebody who does give up his back a lot. So your Uncle Weezy is going with Alexander Pantoja to win this one by second round submission. I think that there's going to be levels shown on the ground here, and that we've just seen Alexander Pantoja out grapple guys in Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno, Steve Urseg, who's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think all those guys are better grapplers than Asakura is at this point. And the reason I really like Pantoja to win here is that Asakura is a guy who's going to rely on winning moments here. And Pantoja's never been finished as a professional, and he's got one of the most reliable chins in the division, along with Brandon Moreno. So like Pantoja to win here, and I think he's going to get it done inside the distance. And I think he'll do it by doing what he does best, using that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt of his to find the submission. So I'm going to give you guys the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week this week. It's got to be Cody custom-made Durden at plus 130. I think that Cody is going to be live to win minutes on the feet here, especially in the first half of the fight. While Van is an excellent striker, what he also is an uncompromising pressure fighter, and he rips to the body a lot. And because of those two things, his head is just wide open to be absolutely murked. And, we saw Charles Johnson, who's not knocking out anybody not named Jimmy Flick in the U.S., in the UFC, going out there and just absolutely sparking this dude. And we were saying before that fight that we knew Josh Van had a good chin. And how do we know that? Because he's eating clean shots all the time, So I am going with the Cody Durden money line at plus 130 as the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week this week, which leaves us with one order of business left. It's Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. I got Pantoja winning inside the distance. I got Rakhmonov winning inside the distance. I got Serial Gane winning by decision here, maybe a third round knockout. I got Mitchell winning a decision. I got this one as a coin flip, so I'm not picking this one for the ass shaving of the week. Reyes could win inside the distance, but I'm picking him by decision, so I can't do that. Gorimbo is somebody I think is going to get a finish in an early finish here. Evloev, he didn't even finish his banana that he had for breakfast this morning, so I don't think he's finishing Aljo. Randy Brown, I got winning by decision. He's an underdog. Anders is a coin flip here, and I've got him finishing. I got Durden winning by second round submission, and so does Cody Durden. I got Chiesa decision. I got Hooper submission round 1, but he's a big favorite. And I got Nzechukwu round 2 KO, and he's a big favorite, so we can't make it for him. But yeah, you guys, it's going to be a very reliable fighter, in my opinion, going up against the guy who's got a lot of things kind of standing in his way in terms of narrative issues this week. It's going to be the cannibal. I mean, who better to shave some ass? I mean, because if you're going to eat another human being, the butt is going to be one of the fucking most delicious parts. So you're going to shave that ass so that you can now properly prepare that ass to be eaten. You guys, Alexander Pantoja is your Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. I think he wins. I think he wins inside the distance, and I think he wins it in violent fashion here. So we are going with Pantoja to shave some ass this week and finish this fight. So we got a full card breakdown here done. We've got all the picks in for you guys. We've got an underdog pick. It's going to be Cody Durden plus 130 this week. I've also got an underdog bet on Randy Brown at plus 197. And then we've got Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week is going to be Pantoja by submission in round number 2. So now we're going to do the Greasy 4-leg parlay this week. And let me give you the 4 legs of that. Leg number 1 is going to be the Michael Chiesa money line at minus 117. Like I said, I love the way he moves on the feet. He only absorbs 3.4 significant strikes per minute on the feet, and he's never been knocked down. So I think that we can all agree that Chiesa is going to probably win a lot of minutes in the grappling exchanges of this fight. So if he's not getting hit on the feet, if he's not getting knocked down, I think he's going to win this fight. A lot of people don't know that Max Griffin's the older fighter. Max Griffin's 39 years old. Chiesa's 37. So when you got Chiesa having that strength of schedule advantage, he's got the much better wins at the UFC level. And he's got a big grappling advantage as well. And he's the taller and longer fighter. I'm going with Michael Chiesa to win at minus 117. It's close enough to even that we're getting a nice little boost on the value of our parlay by having Chiesa as the first leg. Leg number 2 is going to be the Movsar Evloev by decision prop. Hey, Movsar Evloev's got 8 wins. 8 of them are by decision at the UFC level. This guy really doesn't have a lot of finishing ability. So at minus 122, we're taking a guy whose money line is sitting at minus 230 here. So they're talking about a money line that's sitting around 70%. And then we're getting that Movsar by decision at about 55%. So we're getting a nice 15 or so percent reduction in the implied probability or the price of this line. And it allows us to get this parlay up to plus 239 for 2 legs. So then now we can kind of find a couple of legs going here forward that have a bigger chance of cashing, and that maybe we can kind of hedge out on the last leg here. So leg number 1, Michael Chiesa money line minus 117 on Unibet or on Bet Rivers. Leg number 2, Movsar Evloev to win by decision at minus 122. Leg number 3 on this parlay is going to be Serial Gane to win in round 3 or by decision at minus 195 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. I think Gane might get a late finish here. But I think that this is going to be another fight where he demonstrates how good of footwork he has. He demonstrates how elusive he is and how he can outpoint his opponents, especially over a 3-fight or 3-round sample size. So I like Gane to win the minutes of this fight, which is something that he does very well. And I think that him being faster and him having better footwork while Volkov's more of a plotter, this is the kind of matchup that's going to give Volkov problems because he does really good when his opponents don't really move their feet well, and that he can out-volume them. He can use the range and then sit down on his punches when they get frustrated and try to come inside. But I think that Gane is going to do what he always does, which is just move really well on the outside. He's got the big cage with which to move and use that distance management that he uses so well. Throw those body kicks, outpoint Volkov on his way to another win here. So Ciryl Gane by round 3 win or by decision at minus 195 brings us up to plus 415 on this. And then leg number 4, you guys know who it is. It's got to be, so the leg 3 is going to be the Ciryl Gane round 3 decision minus 195. And the leg number 4, it's got to be your Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. If the guy's going to win, if he's going to win violently, let's just throw him in there. So Alexander, the cannibal Pantoja, is first going to shave that ass, and then he's going to eat it. And he is going to beat Pakai Asakura inside the distance by second round submission. So minus 275 for Alexander Pantoja brings this greasy 4-leg parlay up to plus 605 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Let's cash this thing, and let's see what you guys are up to in the chat. We got a bunch of yous in here. Let me see what's going on. Scroll all the way up. We got Olajuwon Dream saying, "Oi!" Yes, we got Mushroom in the room saying, "What's up, Unc? One more sleep until violence." I know he's sneak watching at work, and he's saying, "What's up to Dream?" And we got Olajuwon saying, "What's up to Mushroom?" We got Mike Metal in the room saying, "Oi, what's up, Mike? Good to see you hanging out." We got Brady in here saying, "Movzar, Pantoja, Gane, and Durden parlay going to hit 100%. I am picking Movzar. I am picking Pantoja. I am picking Gane, and I am picking Durden." So that parlay Brody gets the Uncle Weezy, bam, stamp of approval, my friend. We got Sid Lisk in the room. Oi, what's up, Sid? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Pores Wolf saying, "Let's go." We got my guy, the Cuban Assassin, saying, "What's up, Weezy? I'm going out tonight to find hot chick. Take her ex-boyfriend's last name in honor of this cuck, Ian Garry. Let's go." What's up, dude? It's good to see you hanging out in here, Cuban Assassin. Always appreciate you, brother. We got 4-ounce Sniper saying, "Weezy, what's up, dude?" We got the Sped MMA Enjoyer saying, "Whoa, yo, Weezy, do you see the UFC's coming back to Chicago in Q1 or 2 of 2025? I heard that they were talking about Chicago. You got to figure they're going to have to do it, right? Bilal Muhammad, Chicago champion. Juliana Pena, Chicago champion. You got some guys like Ignacio Bahamondes. You got Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke, Charles C. Diddy Radke, actually, is how I think how he wants to be known. Yeah, you got some really good Chicago fighters right now. So Carlos Hernandez as well. I think that they've got to come back to Chicago. And when they do, your Uncle Weezy's going to be in the house for sure. Got to see the UFC if it comes through my hometown. We got TH saying, "Oi, what is up, TH?" We got One Shot in the room saying, "Hola, Mr. Weezy. Sure, have you heard it over and over, but the song is A grade." I appreciate you, man. That was my guy, Matt from the Golden Octagon's YouTube channel, who put that together for me on AI, and I thought it was a banger, and I'm going to be playing it as my intro for the foreseeable future, man. I'm glad you like it. We got Jonathan Edwards in the room saying, "Uncle Weezy." What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Forrest Daniel saying, "I came to hang out with Uncle Weezy covering UFC stats to make stacks like flapjacks." What's up, Forrest? Thanks for hanging out. Saying happy holidays, Uncle Weezy, from myself to you and your family. Right back at you, Forrest. I hope you have a really great holiday season, man. We've got TH saying, "Is Battle still fighting?" As far as I know, that fight is still happening here. We've got Larry saying, "What's good in the hood, everybody?" What's up, Larry? Good to see you hanging out in here. I know Larry is on the either the Patreon or the Dub Club. He's a supporter of the work. Appreciate you, Larry. We've got Russell Clay saying, "Weezy." What's up, Russell? Thanks for hanging out with us here. We've got One Shot saying, "TH, I think so." Jenna Marie is in the room. What's up, Jenna? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Mushroom saying, "What's up to Jenna?" We got my guy Rob Pagorni in the house saying, "Unc, going to Vegas in the morning. We'll be checking out my first in-person action, short notice, but come join me. I don't think I can make it to Vegas in the morning, dude. Oh my God, that would be wild though. I haven't been to Vegas in some years, man. It's been a minute. It's one of our boys' bachelor parties the last time I went, man. We got Mushroom saying Beck would be impressed because Weezy also has 2 turntables and a microphone. I got the microphone right here. I got the 2 turntables back there. Got another turntable up there, and I got another one in the other room for when I want to listen to records out in the main room. So yeah, man, got 4 turntables. Oh my God, you got an extra ticket? Jesus Christ, Pagorni. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to hit him up. We got MMA J saying, you think it's an advantage that Battle missed weight? It can be. It absolutely can. I mean, he missed by 4 pounds. So, you know, what you do is you look to the scale looking as miserable as possible. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying. And then as soon as you're off camera, you're like, all right, let's get rehydrated. Let's get ready to go. Randy Brown's a big dude, and I'm gonna be a lot heavier than him because I chose not to cut the last 4 pounds. He weighed in at 175, and he had to make 171, so it was way off for Battle. It might be an advantage for him. Yes, we got Professor Chaos saying, "What's up, Uncle Weezy? Let's cash some bets." We got Joe Free saying, Uncle Weezy, what's up, bro? Much love from New Jersey. Good to see you hanging out in here, Joe Free. We got Mushroom saying, I did so much ASA Akira tape study this week. I'm drained. Asa Akira. We got, yeah, dude, I did a lot too, man. I definitely watched a lot of it. It's fun, man. It's definitely fun because the guy had some really good fights. 2 fights against Cop, 2 fights against what was that dude's name? Kyoji Horiguchi. 2 fights against Hiromasu Ogikubo. Definitely a lot of good tape. Forrest saying making cash is a breeze when you listen to Uncle Weez. That's a great rhyme, man. Scully Taylor saying I don't know how to feel about the Battle weight miss. Yeah, I know it's a wrench in the works. I already had my bets in, so I just kept it. I'm just riding with what I have. We got what up, Weezy? What up, Jack or Zach? Good to see you hanging out in here. Dorito saying ring a ding dong. Cody gets this dub. Yeah, dude, I think he does, man. I'm betting him to win. I got his money line, and I've got a quarter unit on his KO prop plus 1,000. We got Zach Johnson saying Cody round 3. We got Mushroom saying that. We got Bo Jackson saying I was Randy Rudeboy at Nochi and lost. His entrance was amazing, though. Yeah, dude, Randy Rudeboy is a fun fighter to watch, man. We got Remora saying didn't bother to try to cut the weight. Dude looked like a skeleton, LOL. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he didn't, but he missed by 4 pounds. You know, like that's. It doesn't really matter if you look like a skeleton. You've made the weight before. You missed by 4 pounds. That's a lot of weight, dude. So, I mean, like, this is going to be, like that. That's like a 2.5% miss. That's seriously like, that's almost all the way up to 185 that you're going now. So it's kind of crazy. Uncle Weezy, the unklest uncle that ever unkled is a fact. Mushroom, my man. What's up, Clark? Good to see you hanging out in here saying, does a standing backpack count as a takedown attempt? If so, I can see why Aljo's takedown attempt percentage is so low. No, I don't. Well, it might be. I don't know how the statisticians grade that. I've never heard that question before. That's a really good question. We got Sultan saying, have a great feeling about that Randy shout. Yeah, I mean, like, dude, if Randy Brown wins by decision, I'll be up 7 units. Because I got one plus 197 for a unit and then plus 500 to win by decision. That's a great line. We got Bo Jackson's going to be on the Gorimbo money line. We got House of Pain Michael in the room saying, "Oh, I'm late. I'm representing Brady." LOL. What? Yeah, dude. All right, there you go. Brady's sick, man. Brady is sick. Prayers out there for Brady because he's not feeling well right now. He's getting his ass kicked by a virus. So let's hope that Brady feels better, man. Gorimbo over 1.5, minus 106, Rivers Casino, Philly. There you go. goddamn over, huh? I'm worried he's going to get an early knockout. I was going to bet knockout 1-2 mushroom, but I didn't get there, and now I don't think I'm going to do it. Reyes Parks, we got Reyes parlay piece. I don't mind it, but the thing about parlaying Reyes is we know that this dude has chin issues. Like it's not too long ago that Smitty was out there wobbling, Ryan Spann, who's a big dude, so I don't know, man. I don't know if he's a parlay piece. I think that's just short-sighted, Benino, but I think he's going to win. You know what I'm saying? I want to bet on him to win by decision at plus 400 because the line just makes no sense, but I don't know if I'm going to get there, man. I just wouldn't parlay him, dude. I don't think I could feel good about it, but I feel like he wins. Like, I don't know really what an Anthony Smith, so, I guess a meme KO, I guess that's what it looks like. We got, probably a Benino, UFC AARP fight. We got Volkan in the room saying, "Oh, what's up, Volkan?" We got my guy Robert Saladino in the room saying, "Weezy, who sets the odds in MMA? Computer data, a think tank in a room, a combination of both, especially in MMA, odds seem off, and this card is no different." Yeah, so it's going to be some kind of a computer algorithm that's run by the risk management department of a sports book. So usually you see Bet Online be first to the market, but if they're not, it'll be DraftKings or it'll be FanDuel. And what they'll do is they'll open up where their computer algorithm tells them to open it up. And their risk manager is probably going to look at what the algorithm says. They're going to probably have some information, just in their head about, which way the public might be going on this one. And then they open it up with low limits to see where the public initially, has their bias at the opening line. And then they start to take bigger bets as it starts to move towards where the market wants the line to be. So, yeah, it's going to be some kind of a computer data algorithm combined with whoever the risk manager of the sports book. And, they're going to have some of them. The first one to market is usually going to be somebody with an algorithm that spits them out a price. And then the risk manager might adjust that price before they open it. MMA is the most volatile sport. That's what makes it the most valuable, too. That's right, man. I can't trust a dude who doesn't trust seatbelts. He's referring to one Bryce Mitchell. Flat Earther versus Butt Scooter, greatest sport on earth. You're damn right, man. Volkov sub plus 2,200. I don't hate it, dude. I went with Max Griffin by sub at plus 2,500. Put a quarter unit on it because Michael Chiesa loves to get subbed all the time. So I figured since he's going to grapple, he might put himself in something. And Max Griffin has attempted 4 submissions in the UFC. So it's not like he's a guy who has never attempted any submissions, training with Ryan Loder and Hernandez, Anthony Hernandez. So you never know, man. He might find something there. But yeah, Volkov sub plus 2,200. That's a big fat line. What's good, Weezy, says Jacob Cole. Good to see you hanging out in here, Jacob. We got Olajuwon saying, I think this one ends inside the distance this time. We will see. It could. At plus 215, if you're talking about Gane Volkov, I don't mind it, dude. I like that angle. Let's go. Benino saying my read pre-tape was Shavkat 4-5 because he's never gotten there. Kind of my thinking in the Fluffy versus Pereira fight, but he's more of a pace monster. Yeah, that Fluffy is more of a pace monster. You can bring the serial Gane line down to minus 110 if you parlay Gane with most strikes landed. That would be, that's not a bad look either. I think he's going to outland him, but don't forget that Volkov also has a very good significant strike differential, as does Gane. So it's not a lock that he's going to land more, but, it's something that he does do very well. Is there a cuck chair and a yurt? I don't even know what a cuck chair is. And I know that a yurt is like a hut where you sweat, I think. But I haven't been in a cuck chair and I have not been in a yurt. So I'm the wrong person to ask on a couple of different levels there, Gus. So I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat can help us out. I had to sprinkle Garry decision. Yeah, at plus 800. It's a good look for me, man. Also played fight goes to decision at plus 200. I don't mind it, man. But Nino saying Cyril Gane most significant strikes on Bet Online is minus 200. See, that's that, and I've seen it cheaper than that elsewhere. So yeah, that makes sense. Bet Online's a sharp book. We got Jay's MMA in the room with the picture of Teresian Gore with the 2 belts. I love it, man. Saying, "Oh my goodness, Unc, I'm loving the hair." I'm glad, dude. I just washed it yesterday. Usually looks kind of shitty after I wash it for a day, but today it's looking all right. So I'm pretty happy about it. We got Bo Jackson saying, "Ayo," and we saying, "Nah, Uncle cooked." We got No Diddy. He's not wrong, says Sultan. We got Pantoja by X eating, says Panino. Asakura looked better on the scale than I thought, but he was for sure drawn out. He looked very skinny to me. He looked very skinny. Olajuwon saying, "Dang, I played Griffin at plus 100 today." Well, it is what it is. You know, you might hit, dude. It's a closely lined fight for a reason. Pantoja saying, Mushroom saying, Pantoja beats Asakura the same as I beat my dick to Asakura. So you must be talking, Asa Akira must be a porn star, because I thought you were talking about Asakura earlier. So I totally did not get that one. It went completely over my head. Pantoja will beat Asakura. We got Jonathan Edwards saying, "Like the video." Yeah, man, hit that like, hit that subscribe. And like I said earlier, if you want to get access to the stats packages, the betting models, all the fight write-ups, the 4 hours of weekly content between balls deep breakdowns and probability, join at the links below. Patreon, Dub Club, would love to have some of you guys on board, joining us, being part of the Discord, being part of the 4 hours of content weekly, getting all this fantastic information on every single fight, whether it's a full fight write-up, whether it's all the prop betting lines, whether it's all the over-under bets, whether it's just the matchup stats that are compared to each other and the divisional averages, all the information that you can possibly need to make better gambling decisions in the long run. It's available on your Uncle Weezy's Patreon and Dub Club in the links below. Check it out. We got my guy Muhammad in the room saying, "Oi, what is up, dude?" Gus saying, "What do you think of the Guida Hooper over 1.5 at minus 135? Let me look and see what the data says. I think, I'm picking Hooper to win in round 1, but the data loves it. The data is saying that it's a trifecta bet. Minus 145 is a great parlay piece according to the data, because 14 of 20 Clay Guida fights that have been scheduled for 3 rounds since 2013 have went over 1.5, and 6 of 9 for Hooper. So when you add that up, it's 20 of 29, or 69%, and you're only paying at minus 145, 59%, and at minus 135, it's even better. So the data loves it. My stylistic read is that I think Chase might get him out of there early. However, stylistic reads aren't as important when you have a 29 fight sample size with which to draw from. So the data loves that as a parlay piece, Gus B. It just depends. If your stylistic read is telling you that this one does go over, then that's a bet that you should be making. Couldn't be more ready for this weekend. There you go, man. Me too, dude. We got Kat in the room saying, "Getting sleazy with Weezy." What's up, Kat? Good to see you hanging out in here. We've got T-Saw in the room saying, "Weezy, baby, let's go." What's up, T-Saw? Good to see you hanging out. We got Muhammad saying, "Garry versus Shavkat could be my finest hour. I have some nasty work arbing the totals for no risk and some potential huge profits. Thank you for not fully blowing up my spot on Stat Diggers." There you go, Muhammad. I'm glad it's working out. Saying that's why I was typing shh. Oh, okay. Got you. Got you, man. We got Olajuwon Dream saying, "I like the overs too." LOL. There you go, man. We got Larry saying, "Oh shit, I may have to attend if they go to Chicago. If so, we should have a Weezy fam group meetup." Yes, we should. We should all meet up. Get the Oi boys, the Uncle Weezy crew together to go to the fights when they do come to Chicago, because I'm going to be there. We got Muhammad saying I have to fight to start round 2 minus 225, fight to start round 3 plus 110, fight to start round 4 plus 175, and under 3.5 at plus 100. Can't miss, but I can cash all 4 in early round 4. Good profits, whatever happens. That's funny, Muhammad, because I'm picking a Shavkat 4th round submission. So if that hits, you're going to be on fire. We got Greenbat saying fighter most likely to finish their fight by KO, submission, or decision. House every weekend. So for decision, like the odds will tell you that the number 1 is going to be Bryce Mitchell. Number 2, I think, is going to be Stereo Gane, and number 3 is going to be Movsar Evloev. But my favorite decision bet is Evloev because it's the cheapest of the 3 and because the guy's never won any other way at the UFC level. To most likely to win by knockout. Where do I have the list of all the fights here? So who am I picking to win by KO? I got Gorimbo by KO. I got Anders by KO. I got Nzechukwu by KO. I would say Nzechukwu would be the most likely to win by knockout. By submission, it's going to be Hooper. That's going to be the line that's going to be telling you just statistically that he's got the biggest chance to win by submission. I also think that Pantoja or Rakhmonov are also really good looks for submission. But I would play Pantoja because I think the line is probably the best value. We got Stacy and Paul Docs in the room saying, "What's up, Uncle Weezy? Good to see you hanging out in here. I am doing well." We got Jay saying, "I love battle, but it's just unprofessional and a bit unfair for Randy. Respect to Randy for taking the fight. Agreed, man." We got Muhammad Bruce Lee saying that under 3.5 you find was real, Brady. It had just gotten suspended after I hit it. There you go. One shot saying, "Big boss, you got any stock tips for Monday morning after every single one of these bets cash on Saturday night?" It's been a long time since I worked on the floor of the Chicago Stock Exchange as a specialist. I haven't worked in the financial business since 2008. So as far as stock tips go, I would try to just get into the AI space somewhere where you think that there's some growth potential. That would probably be my best advice right now. I've been holding gold for a very long time, and I never got into Bitcoin like an idiot. We got Abdi saying, "Uncle Weezy, Bovada had gone to win and round 2 to start at plus 175 this morning, and then it got corrected to minus 175. They let me bet 1,000 max on it. Hopefully they don't void. LOL, somebody is getting fired." Yeah, man, that's one thing. Like, dude, I used to be a trader for a couple of different investment banking firms. And so when you're the trader for an investment banking firm, you're not taking like 200 and 300 share orders. You're taking 50,000 share orders, 100,000 share orders that, when they're completed, are, you're buying, in the millions of dollars worth of stock a lot of the time. So whenever we would take orders, we would always repeat the order. All right, so here's what you want me to do. Okay, this, and this. Okay, I'm repeating the order. Buy. You would be like buy or sell, and then the price that they were going to give you as a top or a bottom for whether you were buying or selling. And yeah, man, you have to be so correct about that. So it's just like if you're pricing lines at a sports book and you get the plus or the minus wrong, it's like getting the buy or the sell wrong. So yeah, it's not a mistake you want to be making in that business. That's for sure, man. Pickle Kush in the room saying, "Let's get it. Good luck always. Hope your partner's still doing good with her healing process." She is. There's going to be no surgery actually for another 6 months because the doctor said it's healing so well. He wants it to heal 100% completely before they do any kind of procedure. So she's doing all right, man. And I appreciate the kind words, Pickle Kush. Abdi's saying also they have Shavkat to win in round 2 to start at plus 100. I don't know if it's changed since. Yeah, that's not bad at all, dude. I was looking at the Shavkat, and the over 2.5 was plus 115. So Shavkat to win and round 2 to start at plus 100 is ridiculous. Yeah. I seriously didn't know that, dude. I just thought Asakura. I thought, because there's so many times there's like there's definitely like people talking on their phones and to the voice to text, and I just thought that that's what it was doing. Invest in oil company stock, says Holden Baldassi. We've got Ascend saying, yo, Weezy, your DMs aren't open on Twitter. How can I DM you? I will open them on Twitter. Let me see if I can do that here real quick. I didn't know they weren't open. I thought they were. How do you do that, by the way? Is it settings? Add an existing account. No, it's not that. Messages? Settings? Everyone. Okay. Yeah, now you can message me, dude. We got Abdi saying, can we get a DraftKings fantasy show with the weeks Brady can't do them? Or you all just do them only with Brady? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that going forward. Just because we don't have a sponsor for the show, and the amount of work that I'm doing behind the scenes in order to put together, a fight right up like this on like 12 to 14 fights a week is it's a tremendous amount of work. And then I'm doing 4 hours worth of content for my Patreon people. So for me, Brady, Gordo, and Monk to find an hour every week to do a free show that none of us get paid for, it's not something that is probably going to be happening going forward unless we can find somebody to sponsor the show, because otherwise we're just adding even more amount of work onto a plate that's already stacked with work every single week for 43 weeks every year. So yeah, probably not, dude. I'm not looking to do any more free content. I'm looking to improve the content for the people who support my work on the Patreon and the Dub Club. And that's something that I'm going to be working on during the 3 weeks off, is creating visual presentations for the statistical data that's going to be a lot easier to digest and a lot more valuable to break down the fight. So that's what I'm working on. I will do it after the show is over, my friend. We got Muhammad saying LOL. We got Pickle Coach saying, you know what they say, if it don't fit, don't force it. You can grease it, make it easy. That's right, man. We got Larry saying, I doubt they count a standing backpack as a takedown attempt. I mean, they don't even count knockdowns half the time when they're super obvious. That's true. And if they don't try to trip them down when they're at the back, it really shouldn't even be counted as one. Pantoja versus Asakura. Thoughts on over 2.5 co-main and main event. I like the under in the main event, and I like the over in the co-main event. But we don't really have much data on either. So, like in terms of my betting models, Shavkat and Ian Garry they've neither one of them have been scheduled for 5 rounds, so there's no data on the unfortunately on the betting template or the over-under template for this week. And then as far as Pantoja, he's got 3 fights. Asakura has 0, and Asakura has never been scheduled for 5 rounds, so I like an under in the main event. I think it gets there, Ucelis, but I also kind of think the value is sucked out now. The line moved so far. Yeah. Garry decision plus 750 at bet 365 still there. I believe that's a great line. We got H. Conivis in the room saying, who do you have on Battle versus Brown? I've got Randy Brown winning by decision, and I've got 1 unit on him at plus 197. I've got 1 unit on him to win by decision at plus 500. And we got Tyrone W in the room saying, came late, Unc. What's up, OG? Good to see you hanging out, Tyrone. Thanks for stopping by, my man. We got Muhammad saying, shout out to Unc, reading every comment. LOL. I do that, man. Garry Shavkat over 2.5 rounds, minus 166. Over 2.5 main event, minus 128. I think that's a fair price tag. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it goes over. I mean, neither one of these guys has ever lost a fight, so it's hard to pick them to get finished, We've got MTG saying, you really think Van can't get the job? You guys really think Van can't get the job done? No, I think he can get the job done. It's just that I don't think that this line is accurate. I don't think Van should be 60% to win this fight. I think Durden should be the favorite here. He's more experienced. He's the better minute winner in the grappling exchanges. He's got excellent striking as well. And he's just a lot more experienced and has fought the much better brand of competition. And I've been waiting to fade Josh Van against a grappler for a very long time. And this is an opportunity for me to do it and to get it at plus money. I'm happy to do it, but I know what I'm a fan of Josh Van. I love his style. I like pressure fighters. I like volume fighters. I like fighters that are durable, that force a fight, and that can break their opponents in the second half of fights. And Van can do all of those things. It's just I'm a little bit worried with after the Johnson knockout that the durability might not be as dependable as I thought it was before the Johnson fight. If you like it, go for it, dude. I have fight starts round 3 plus 110. Yeah, so that's quite a move. You're right though. Line moved a lot. It was minus 155 now, minus 166. Can't imagine. Yeah, I mean it is moving too much. A lot more than that. There was huge variation at books. Yeah. Give me one leg to parlay with Pantoja, Unc. I'm thinking Reyes. I think Reyes wins. I really do. The other spots aren't really good parlay pieces. Wouldn't parlay Evloev at minus 228. I would do that, or I would do Reyes, or I would do fight doesn't go to decision for Landwehr versus Choi. Gane is more likely to get a sub, in my opinion. He's got said grappling has been almost his whole sole focus for a while now, and wanting to getting an early finish. And his coach also talked about his sub game. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. True. Thanks for mentioning Muhammad. Also, 25% of his wins are by sub, and only 11% of Volkov's are by sub. Yeah, Volkov is a guy who very rarely tries takedowns. I mean, he really wants to keep the fight standing, and we've seen Gane, attempt some takedowns and mix in his grappling, especially in the Ngannou fight. So, I mean, I think that, and Gane will go for subs. He'll go for leg locks and shit like that. So, I think that, it could happen. Yeah. Kennedy by KO says you sell us. Yup. You're going to see another significant dip in Bitcoin soon. Purchase some then, Unc. I've got to get some crypto in my portfolio. Tarzan, time travel to 2015 and buy Bitcoin. Dude, I could try and tell. I was just talking with my friend last night, my friend Chris, and when he was talking about how he remembers, I had watched a podcast on Red Ice Radio with a guy named Richard Falkvinge back when Bitcoin was $5 per coin. And this guy was talking about how he would put his entire life savings in. And this was around 2008. And I remember I had just lost my job, and I was telling my buddy Chris, I'm like, dude, if I had any money, I'd be putting some money in here. But I had just, we had all lost our jobs back in 2008. Lehman Brothers went under. All the financial people got canned. And I was living very, very thin, trying to just make it, month to month. And yeah, I never got in there and never bought the Bitcoin. And I was always somebody that, knew about Austrian economics. I followed the Ron Paul presidential campaign. I know about, the devaluing of money and money policy. And I've passed 3 actuarial exams. I understand all that shit. And I still never got on the Bitcoin train. It's so stupid of me. Defense contractors are almost always a good bet on stocks. It's either Raytheon or Palantir that Vance has connections to. Yeah, Palantir is going to be, and I think they've got some artificial intelligence as well, Palantir. Yeah, Zach saying Tarzan. Thanks. Best of luck. Everyone says, Gus, you got it, man. Ding-a-ling-ling, let's go. I understand the crypto hate, but regardless of what any of us thinks, there are hundreds of millions of people who see huge value in it and perform phenomenally after the past 2 elections. Yes. Elijah, I was hoping there was going to be a DraftKings show this week. We did not do it this week. We got Hot Boy in the room saying, I saw a video that said that you have the highest winning percentage of anyone out there. It was an impressive number, around 80%. Did you see this? Yeah, I think that might have been the UFC predictions tracker that was saying that, my pick percentage over the last 5 months was something around 75%. Yes, my picks have been phenomenal lately. I changed the policy with which I break down fights. I've taken that methodology and I've changed it, and I'm being a lot more thorough. And it's definitely starting to show the results. I mean, like, if you look at, my stats lately, I mean, it's just, the nice little uptrend there that has been hitting. And we've had long uptrends before, but I kind of got stuck in the mud here towards the end of 2022, or at the end of 2023, the beginning of 2024. But after I changed the methodology with which I break down fights, it's just really improved my pick percentage overall and my bets. We got Tehran Brown in the room saying, "What's up, Uncle? Oi!" And he's picking Shavkat. I am too. We got Moicano Dariush got announced for UFC 311. That's a good fight, man. DK needs to come to the UK. Yes, it does. Do you think Vicente and Gorimbo goes the distance? No, I do not. I think that one's going to finish inside the distance down the hatch. Paul in the room saying Anthony Smith saying he doesn't care about winning or losing anymore is such a red flag. Yeah, I think he's saying, like, he was saying that in the context that he just wanted to get in there and scrap. But yeah, the guy's got like almost 60 professional fights. Larry's saying Hooper sub, also a good parlay piece and easy to hedge a bit with KO at plus 700. I played that KO. Yeah, I used to watch Red Ice like back in I had a membership to Red Ice back in 2012. Way back then, they had some really great shows. And then eventually I just, I haven't been able to watch as much of that kind of a content. And now I have no time for it. But yeah, I remember that show with Richard Falkfinch way back for Bitcoin. And I remember being like, I don't have money to buy it, which sucks. I know it's gross, but I bet Reyes when he was minus 275. Smith has been looking so slow and bad. I agree. He doesn't meet the mold of guys who have been knocking Reyes out at all. So I'm willing to risk it. I got no problem with it. I think Reyes wins, dude. Wonder when the next bubble burst will happen. We'll see, man. We'll see. They're gonna try to lower interest rates again, I think. My favorite picks are Kennedy, Hooper, Evloev, Gane, and Pantoja. I like Reyes a lot too, but it's a little risky. The thing that makes me want to hammer him is hearing Anthony Smith. He doesn't. Yeah. Care to win. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. It makes more confident for sure. Yup. We got Jonathan. I also like Thembo a lot too, but hearing what people are saying is swaying me. Yeah. Hot boy is Nikki Jakey. I don't know what that means. Nikki Jakey. You think this cashes Shavkat versus Garry fight doesn't go to decision? I mean, like, it's like minus 250. I don't know if I want it. I wouldn't lay that kind of juice in a fight where you've never seen either guy lose. So you really don't know what a Shavkat loss looks like. You really don't know what a Garry loss looks like. And because you don't have that information, you'd rather be on the fight goes side because that's big plus money instead of having to lay 2.6 units to win one. I don't love it. I don't love it, if I'm honest. They're both so offensive minded. I agree with that. Not hard to find. Yeah. Volkov is the only fight I seriously disagree with you, Uncle Weezy. Yeah, man, that's all right, dude. I mean, I've actually got no bets on that fight because I don't want to lay, minus 350 on a moment winner on a minute winner in Gane. But and that first fight was close. Even though Gane won all like 49-46, I think, or maybe even 50-45 on some of those judges' scorecards. That fight, he didn't run away with any of the rounds. It was a close enough fight. And I feel like if Volkov was fighting for 3 rounds instead of 5, he would have been able to, let his hands go a little bit more. He wouldn't have tried to pace himself as much. So, yeah, man. We got Larry saying, look into ETH again and perform better after the last 2 elections. And also it hasn't reached its previous peak again yet. Bitcoin just broke 100,000, but can't predict what its medium-term ceiling will be. And important to note that they both peaked about a year after the election. So historically speaking, it's not at all too late to buy in. Got it. We got Hot Boy has left the comments. I didn't get an answer. He says he's in. Forrest Daniels saying the Volkov versus Gane odds shouldn't be that wide. I agree. Yeah, I did give the Greasy 4-legger already. It is. Michael Chiesa money line, -117. Mavzar Evloev by decision, +122. Serial Gane to win in round 3 or by decision at -195. And we've got Alexander Pantoja's money line at -275 is the 4th leg. That comes out to +605 on Bet River Sportsbook. And I'm going to give you guys a take this job and shove it parlay, which I got here at the bottom of the probability notes this week. It is going to be Randy Brown by decision, Shavkat to win and over 2.5 rounds at +115. We got the Van Durden fight doesn't go to decision at -150. And we got Pantoja to win inside the distance at -108. That comes out to +4404 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. That is your take this job and shove it parlay. Thank you guys for the awesome interaction in the chat. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. I don't show up much for free anymore to YouTube here. I concentrate all my efforts on the people that support my work on YouTube or on Patreon or Dub Club. If you want to be a part of the team, check out the links in the description of this video. But you're just saying, Hot Boy saying that you got a free $10 bet. How do I play it? Big money. You play the take this job and shove it parlay here. It's a 4-legger and it comes out to +4,404. Yeah, man. Let's see. We got I love to take this job and shove it. Yeah, great show, Weezy. Appreciate you. Thanks, Dr. Kendrick, for hanging out. We got Aw Jays saying, love your work, Uncle. Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys. Hey, let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 310. Check out the links in the description of this video to come and be a part of the Patreon and Dub Club, where you can get access to the fight write-ups, access to the Discord, access to all my track bets, which are hitting right now. Access to the matchup stats, the individual fighter stats, all the DFS stats, the betting models for over-unders, the betting models for prop bets, 4 hours in 2 different shows of balls deep breakdowns and probability. Check out all of that stuff. $25 a month on the probability tier of the Patreon or the Dub Club. Come join us. Come be a part of the team. And ring a ding, you guys. We got Juicy Q saying Merry Christmas. Christmas, Wheeze. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the donation, man. Keeping the lights on here in your Uncle Weezy's studio. Appreciate you, Juicy Q. And we got Muhammad saying, cheers, Weezy. I'll come back to support in January. I forgot to join the Discord when I was on the Dub Club. Oh, damn it. Yeah, well, we'll get you in next year, man. We'll get you in next year. And Doritos saying, thanks for the effort. Zach in the room. Larry Mavid saying, appreciate you. Appreciate all of you guys. And we will see you guys next week for UFC Tampa, which is going to be headlined by Colby Covington and Joaquin Buckley. But in the meantime, let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 310. God bless each and every one of you guys, and we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.